Hi everyone, welcome to this reading. I have my crystal ball off to the side, so I will be scrying throughout this message. If you're new to my channel, my readings are a little different, and if you're returning, welcome back. You know how we do if it doesn't resonate with you. If you're forcing the story to fit, arguing with it in any way, just leave it behind for the people who it's meant for. So let's go ahead and let's begin. All right, taking a step aside. And allowing spirit to pass through me. Opening up to receive information. Okay, and we're going to be reading from the Alchemy Guidebook. And I'm actually going to read the guidebook. That's the important part of this deck for me. I really like the different things she has to say about it. And there's like nuances in the description that for me mean a lot. So let's go ahead. What is this? We have Argentum, silver. Okay, lunar, reflective, and chrome. And I'll hold this up. Okay, amidst its upper echelon status, silver shines eternally in second position. It is the lesser sibling, the one that's not quite there yet. A true alchemist does not resist this truth, but rather studies its subtle implications and its wisdom. Silver requires polishing or the surface tarnishes over time. Mirrors require cleaning or the image clouds and distorts. Whereas gold sustains its own malleable radiance, silver asks for our participation. We must work at it. Don't give up now. Silver wants to build relationships. Like the moon, a mirror, or a poem, let it reflect an image back with an open heart and one more moment of willingness. The seemingly cold, stark surface of silver opens into the imaginal realm. What is there? Your own vastness. The mysteries that beckon you on moonlit nights. Through our daily devotion to silver, we find the truest gold. To ponder, polishing is practice. Okay, silver is mirror-like, cold, and dense. How do these qualities affect the surrounding cards in the reading? How does silver reflect onto the others? And then we have silver is known as the metal of the moon, and the brain is known as the silver organ. Therefore, meditation is the key to unlocking the metal's secrets. What we have here, there's this one sentence right there in blue. And in many of the passages here, there's multiple lines that are in blue. It struck me that there's only one, and that message is don't give up now. So whoever this message is for, there may be something that we're preemptively about to give up, and the message is to not give up. There is an implication here that it's okay if we have to sometimes do some hard work, right? Have to do some self-cleaning, some self-care in order to be able to reflect things as well as possible, right? It's okay. Okay, interesting. I don't know why I feel like I'm supposed to leave this open, so I'm going to leave it open. I also feel like I'm supposed to move this deck. Good. Okay, now let's get this deck. Overall energy. Okay, we have the Three of Cups. Again, it was saying silver wants relationships. And we have this Three of Cups. That's what Three of Cups represents. It represents coming together with others. There may have been something recently that we celebrated, in fact. But here, what we seem to be doing is choosing to be alone again. So I don't know if somebody's in the process of trying to build up the relationships in their life, but then they keep pulling away from them in order to... this feels... Okay, this feels a little bit like... Oh, okay, okay, hear me out. So what this feels like to me, because silver and the moon, this is very psychic, intuitive, right? Empathic sort of qualities. Someone here, you may be unaware that one of the reasons why you're maybe, well, some of you might be aware of this. Some of you may realize that you need to pull away and that you're unconsciously you might realize that you need to pull away sometimes because your mirror gets bogged by other energies, right? For others of you, you may not necessarily feel that way. You might just always find that you leave situations immediately. And what's happening here is there's an overwhelm that's taking place because of the interaction of your energy with the energy of others, right? The interesting thing about this passage is it's talking about silver, and these cups here are made out of gold, right? So there is an intrinsic difference between gold and between silver. And there's nothing wrong with relationships between people who are very different. We may not be able to handle that difference on all occasions. And it's okay to take a step back, polish our own mirror and be able to show up, right? In that idea of polishing the own mirror, we have to do that in order to be able to hold space. Okay. Okay. We have here the Emperor. This is about governing your own energy, right? Being in control of your own energy. I want to say for some of you too, I am getting this, so I am going to say it. I do feel that some of you may not necessarily understand psychic empathy, or that you have that faculty within you, right? So we may get involved in situations and then we feel like, wow, why do I feel all these things? And my emotions, there's just an intensity of these emotions and I'm super uncomfortable with it, and we get overwhelmed really quickly. One of the things that seems to be taking place here is that someone is not aware that, maybe we understand the concept of being telepathic beings, but we don't actually understand the experience of how that's affecting us day by day. And how it might be affecting other people, right? Especially people who have sort of this gold energy. Not saying that there's people here that are gold. It's just this gold cup energy the cup receives, right? That's what I'm saying. And there are other people involved in the mix, right? So you may have a tendency to connect with other people that are psychic empaths, and what's essentially happening is the volleying of energy that takes place back and forth, and if energy is heightened, that's going to almost explode, or it's going to reach like a tipping point. And if you do resonate with this about being silver, as the moon, it's soft, it's subtle, it's a little bit more emotional, it's a little bit more gentle. These types of interactions might greatly affect you, and so it's very important to understand how we ourselves are psychic individuals. And if you encounter other people who are also psychic individuals, to understand that and hold space for that also, that, hey, I might be affecting them the way that they're affecting me. And I might be feeling things that they're feeling, but they might also be feeling something to me. There's something about the mirror that's coming in here, right? Especially with that silver, right? It's reflective, but I don't feel that that's all that's going on. Is just that you are reflecting someone. I think someone may have recently been reflecting you as well. Okay. We have the Emperor. If the Empress even comes out in this reading, I don't know why I feel so strongly it will. We have the Nine of Wands. There may be a defense that we have, therefore, in truly connecting. This feels a little bit like we prevent ourselves from reaching a space of intimacy. And intimacy doesn't mean sex, right? It means these intimate connections where we are deeply bonded to other people. How much of that do you have in your life? That's kind of the question that's being asked. And it's saying that you can go the distance, you can do more, right? It's not hard work. It's understanding that there seems to be situations in our life where the space is being held, and we may not necessarily understand that, right? You're allowed to have self-care. You're allowed to express your needs. You're allowed to tell people, hey, like, I'm a little overwhelmed in this situation. I just need a minute and then I'll be back, right? Like that's okay. And it almost feels like someone's going through a situation where they need to hear that. Okay, we have the Eight of Swords. I don't know why I got stuck there. And what this feels like is somebody, because of this defense, what winds up happening is they wind up feeling trapped, or they wind up feeling stuck. So there may have been a situation recently where we tried to meet new people, where we maybe tried to establish new friendships or get involved in some sort of social setting. Or maybe this is just a story that's taken place in your life that you've recently been trying to look at and analyze and work on. This energy of being stuck, this is not a true energy, right? That's why it's being represented by the Nine of Swords. It's all mental. It's happening inside of our mind, and it's all because of this passionate overwhelm. For some of you, you may be noticing that this is a new experience for you. And I say that because of the Four of Cups, right? We may be focusing a little bit more on what's wrong rather than what's right. Yeah, and some of you, it is a new experience that's taking place here with the Fool. For some of you, it may even be kind of a hard experience because this is the first time that you've experienced someone or a group of people that are this empathic. We do have the Lover's card. And so this this may be in the context of a relationship. It doesn't have to be, right? For me, this is always kind of symbolic of the alchemical wedding. So this is just where things separate, things come together, where we're finding ourselves through this process. I almost think of this very similarly as the Kabbalistic idea of tzimtzum, the opening and the closing and the breaking apart of things. Expansion, contraction. Here we have judgment. There may be something that we're trying to think about in terms of some sort of relationship, right? I am going to read the Lovers as a relationship, not necessarily a romantic relationship. Oh, I'll be right out. The puppy dog is whining because she's in her crate. And there may be something that we're trying to do. For some of you, the judgment means a return, to try to come back to something, but we feel a little stuck. Remember that communication is important. It never hurts to actually communicate things, okay? Now, we do have the World card. Okay, so the World card for me right now isn't necessarily speaking about boundaries. It's not necessarily speaking about the end, it's speaking about boundaries, right? So we have the moon that's inside this sort of ring, that's the sphere of the moon, and then we have this energy here also that is inside of her own sphere. It's understanding what is our energy and what is the energy of other people. Again, there may have been an overwhelm because we were actually feeling other people's feelings and we didn't realize that's what was going on. We just knew that the situation was super extreme and tense. Okay, this may have resulted in the end of a very significant connection for somebody. Okay, and let's see, and this is the King of Swords. Again, there's a deep need for communication here. Just to communicate your needs, whether you do actually decide to return to something or not. It's a need to communicate our needs, right? Understanding what needs maybe we aren't always communicating, and how that can color an experience and make an experience confusing. I think that someone here is also getting used to being able to communicate themselves, allowing themselves to take up that space. Maybe because you were in situations where you weren't allowed to have that. Okay, this is the last card. Okay, and then the Fool. So we do have a new beginning here. So if you are trying to return to something, you're a little worried about it, I do think that there will be a little bit more of a positive energy behind that than you're expecting. However, I do think some of you are going to decide to not pursue this and you're going to end it, in which case you have a new beginning, right? We're creating our own new beginning here. The choice is yours. The choice is absolutely yours, and we have you, whoever I'm reading for, showing up as the Magician. It's really what you make of it. It's really what you make of it. The Magician himself goes through a very intense alchemical process in order to be able to lift up that wand and to wield it appropriately. There may be a little bit of, however, I do have to say, a little bit of control, right? We want to control things. We want to keep ourselves safe because that's one thing that the Magician does do. So just be mindful of that. Just be mindful of that. Let's see. We're going to pull a card from this deck. Okay. We have the Vow. So for some of you, there may be inside this connection, again, I was getting that significant connection that's coming through. There may have been something that was promised, right? Or this may be something that is guided by spirit. And so there may be this sense that we want to see some form of this through. Remember that I've mentioned this before inside my readings. Whenever I see this black, like in this deck, it always makes me think of that card, the Destroyer, meaning that anything that shows up in front of that in these cards is something that can be destroyed at any moment. It is always something that is under the threat of destruction. So here what we have is we have this vow. Do we decide to honor this vow and to follow, quite possibly spirit who has led us to this thing? This feels a little bit like a gift energy at this time. Or do we release it, right? And this is probably why I thought that the Empress was going to come up with that Emperor, because it does feel, I'm not going to lie, with like the Lovers and this vow energy, this feels very twin flamey, and you guys are not used to hearing me say that. You guys are not used to hearing me say that. In fact, I know some of you know what I think about that, but whatever, that's besides the point. I'm going to say it because it's coming through. So there's a little bit of this vow thing. How vulnerable do we allow ourselves to be? Do we recognize when energy is ours, when energy isn't ours? Do we give other people the space to be able to say, oh, maybe they are acting this way because they're receiving my energy. Maybe they're asking me these questions because they're receiving my energy, right? I personally go through that as a psychic empath a lot. I have a problem inside my relationships that I always ask people, are you okay? Are you okay? And they'll always say, I'm fine, right? They'll always say, I'm fine. That's always the answer. And in reality, they're not. They're worried about X, Y, Z, right? And that comes out later. And it's like, well, why didn't you tell me that? The whole reason why I'm asking you this is because it deeply affected me, right? And being able to understand that this is the human interaction that we're having, we are mirrors, we're reflecting, is huge. Because what happens is we alleviate so many problems that we have, especially if we recognize that we are psychic empaths, or that the partners that we're with are psychic empaths, for example. So whoever this message is for, this is almost like an opening up of understanding your own psychic abilities, and understanding that, this is an actual thing inside of your relationship, and to make space for it, and to keep it in mind, and to allow yourself to have the space to speak up and to take space when needed. So whoever this message is for, I wish you the best of luck with this, and until next time.